Alright, y'all, should we make Lucas film a video or no?
Haven't we filmed enough content already?
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there, but don't you think Lucas would want to keep the content grind going so he can maybe be successful on YouTube, you know?
Isn't he sick?
Yeah, he is sick, but maybe he can still do it.
But there's also copyright claims and copyright strikes. Oh, I hate those. I hate
Whoa,
those!
calm down,
Anger, calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down! I got him! Hold him still! There we go. Anger, you calm down now? I'm never calm, but I'm better now. Alrighty, y'all, let's finally settle this. Are we making a video or not?
Sure.
No! Copyright
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, Stokes the Camel 330. Back at it with another review. And yesterday I was able to check out Inside Out 2 in theaters, and I am giving you my thoughts on it. But before we get getting into the review itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because number 1, it's absolutely free. Number 2, on the road to 1,000 subscribers. That's 269 right now, and also maybe help with YouTube algorithm recommended it to more people. Maybe they could join the chat. And please feel free to comment your thoughts on Inside Out 2 down below. And also, just would like to point out, I'm still a little bit sick. I'm better compared to the last 2 days, but I'm still a little bit sick, so I'll try to be as energetic as I possibly can, but I might not be as well. But with that being said, let's get right into it. And before we get into the review, let's give a quick plot synopsis, shall we? So transition and choose. Joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust have been running a successful operation by all accounts. However, when anxiety shows up, they aren't sure how to feel. Alright, so going into Inside Out 2, my past relationship with Pixar, I obviously, like mostly everyone, love their early films, and like from 2000, from the first Toy Story all the way to like 2007, 2008, have loved all those movies. But over the past few years, Pixar hasn't been as amazing as their hot streak back in the early 2000s. They've had some decent movies, or okay, or good movies, but they haven't been outright amazing. I think the last amazing movie, ironically, was probably Inside Out 2. That's the one that comes to mind, at least. And for this one, I was just... From the trailers, it looked promising, but I didn't want to get my hopes way too high, because I've been kind of disappointed by some Pixar movies in the past, but I thought from the trailers it was going to be good. So, let's see where I landed on it, shall we? So, did I love it, or did I not love it? Alright, starting off with the good, we have the animation in here. The animation is amazing, as usual, for most of Pixar's movies, even the bad ones. The animation is stellar throughout here, and it amazes me how people were able to create this. It was so amazing. Another positive, the new emotions. So that would be anxiety, voiced by Maya Hawke, which is the biggest new emotion in this movie that plays the best role. You also have envy. There's also ennui, which we all saw from the trailers, which means boredom. And probably the second biggest new emotion being embarrassment as well. Which in the trailers, we all saw that they were going to be like the new villains of the movie. And anxiety was a great character. You totally understand where she's coming from for like the kind of villain arc. She definitely, you understand what she's trying to do, even though it's all wrong. Embarrassment and her, I think, are the two new emotions that get the most, like, I would say the most development out of the new characters. I think that Envy and Ennui get kind of sidelined, but I think that's what they were meant for. They were meant to be not as important as anxiety and embarrassment, so they were really good. So speaking of the new emotions and anxiety, let's bring up the voice acting in here. I thought Maya Hawke as anxiety was amazing. I thought she did really great in here. She's probably the best voice acting performance, in my personal opinion, out of the cast, but all the voice acting is good, and I feel as if probably some people were a little bit hesitant going into this one, some tiny bits of people, because as we know about this coming out, some of the previous voice actors in the first Inside Out, which that would be Bill Hader and the original person that voiced Disgust and Anger, I think. Well, probably Disgust and Bill Hader. We heard that they weren't coming back, so we were a little bit hesitant, but I can confidently say that I think you can't really tell, and the new voice actors were good choices to voice fear and disgust, so they were good choices here. Another positive, the further character development with Riley in her story, which I think that this might be a hot take, but I personally thought the development for her character in this was better than the first movie. Don't get me wrong, the first movie's development for Riley was great, but this further improves on that, improves how valuable of a character she is, even though we focus on the emotions most of the time, which I totally enjoyed about this character in this new movie. She has this sort of storyline that we've seen before, but it is well done in here. And with that as well, it also further develops the emotions in that case, because they are a part of her, so that it did a good job further developing joy as well from the first Inside Out, and yeah, it developed fear, disgust, and anger quite well as well. Another one is the emotional moments. While not as strong as the first film, it still handled the emotions as well. I'm not meaning the actual emotions like anger, joy, and sadness. Not that. I mean the emotional moments throughout the movie. I think they're still emotional, but they're not as amazing as the first film. But they're still really impactful, and almost got my mom to teary. Almost got to my mom to crying a little later on with the movie, and they did a good job on that as well, following off of the first film as well. And also, the final positive is this movie will help kids understand life better, I think. More specifically, teenagers. I think it will help the younger demographic understand life more and have a conversation after the movie's over, I think. So there's that. Now let's move on to the mixed. And the first mixed I have is the use of sadness, which you might have noticed when I mentioned sadness, when I didn't mention sadness when I said the further character development. She in here, I think, gets sidelined. It didn't quite bother me, but for the people that loved her character a whole lot for the first Inside Out, I think that they're probably going to be wondering why sadness isn't a bigger part of the movie, so there's that. Just warning you guys. And then the final mixed aspect of the movie is its story is basically the same as the original, which it didn't bother me. I thought it was actually a smart decision to stick to the original story with adding a little tiny bits and pieces of new story in there, so I'm glad they did that. But I feel as if probably it might turn some adults or kids that love the first movie off and go like, I was hoping for something a little bit different. So that's mixed aspects. Now, moving on to the bad. Which, good news, no bad. And with that being said, let's bring out the toxic meter. And I will give this a not toxic, an A+.
Hey.
And I loved this movie, and this was... hopefully they can keep it going. But this, I think, was the right step to bring Pixar back. And hopefully this makes a lot of money, and I definitely recommend seeing it in theaters, especially if you loved the first Inside Out. But with that being said, I think this will definitely be in my top 10 favorite movies of the year thus far, or top 5. I loved it. But with that being said, guys, before we get to the actual ending of the video itself, guys, thank you for watching this toxic movie review. Do feel free to comment your thoughts on Inside Out 2 down below, and also, if you'd like me to do a spoiler review of the movie down below as well, and I will also be doing an updated tier list ranking of all the Pixar movies with Inside Out 2 coming out either Sunday or Monday, so be on the lookout for that. But with that being said, guys, I'll be on Peace.